Hello and welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where after yesterday's shenanigans where I had to tackle Hawaii by Peter Venus, which took me 96 minutes to solve, I've asked the testers for something slightly easier today, and apparently this puzzle has just been recommended to us and fits the bill. It's called Trail Map, and it's by Redundant. I think that's meant to be like redundant with no vowels in it, so the vowels have been rendered redundant by Redundant. So yeah, and apparently this is a great puzzle. I've read the rules and they seem fairly standard, so I'm looking forward to trying this, and I'll read the rules in just a second to you guys. I don't have much to tell you actually. Lots of you have asked us when we're going to resume streaming. And the answer is, I hope, quite soon. I think we might revisit the escape room game that we played without distinction the last time we streamed. The other option is this, which is called The Last Cube, which is a new game that's apparently coming out on, might be Thursday this week. And this has been recommended to us by the makers of the game, no less. So it does look quite good. I watched a video of it and it looked like a sort of 3D puzzler type thing, which might be up our streets. So yeah, watch this space. We'll announce on Twitter if we're going to do that. Our Twitter handle is @CrypticCracking as usual. Now, nothing else to tell you, except well done to those of you who've managed to solve our Patreon reward for March. We have now had over 1,000 correct entries, which is quite startling and a testament to how clever you lot are who watch this channel. Now, anyway, let's get on with the rules of this one. What are they? Normal Sudoku rules apply. Cells separated by a knight's move in chess cannot contain the same digit. So if that was a 5, then you couldn't put a 5 in any of these cells, because each of these highlighted cells would be a knight's move. I've just seen this can't be a 5 anyway, but imagine this was a 5. 5 and 5, knights move apart. That breaks the rules of the puzzle. You can't put a 5 in a 7 cage though, for the following reason, which is the next part of the rules. In cages, digits must sum to the small clue in the top left corner of the cage. Digits cannot repeat within a cage, and that means that if you were to try and put a 5 in this cage here, both of those cells would have to be a 1, and that most certainly breaks the rules of Sudoku in all sorts of ways. So don't do that. So what do the killer rules mean, killer cages mean? Those 4 cells add to 21, those 3 cells add up to 19, and what you can't do is something like that, because although these 9s don't seem to see each other using normal Sudoku rules, they do of course occupy the same cage, and that breaks the rules about don't repeat digits in a cage. Now the grey line is a palindrome, i.e. digits on the line read the same from both directions. So that means if this cell was a 1, this cell would have to be a 1, and however this, let's say it went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then from this direction it would also have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So we just have to make sure if we read it from this direction, whoa, I nearly read it the wrong way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then however that continues, it must also continue in exactly the same way from the other direction. It's quite an interesting rule, the palindrome rule. It leads to lots of funny geometries. Now, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the puzzle as usual. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And we can get cracking presumably with 7 cages, of which we have 2, which must be 1s, 2s and 4s. Now, right, how could this 5 cage be a 1-4 cage now? Well, it couldn't. And the reason it couldn't is you can't put 2 into both of those cells, so you'd end up having to repeat a digit in box 2, and that's no use. So that must be a 2-3 pair. That places a 2 in the 7 cage in that position, removes 2 from those cells, which make these a 1-4 pair. This is not a 2, so 2 is in one of those 2 cells, and 2 is down there somewhere in box 8. And this 2 sees the 2-3 pair, so all of this gets resolved. And we get a 3 on the palindrome, not in a corner, so it doesn't get a song. But that means that cell there has to be a 3. Now, what do we do with our new information? We should... tempted. Oh, well, there's a couple of things I'm thinking about. I was about to count the length of the palindrome, but I've just noticed that this cell can't be a 2 because of the knight's move condition. So 2 in box number 1 is in a domino here, both of which are on the palindrome. So 1, 2, 3, so 1, 2, 3. Ah, aha, straight away, that's beautiful. That can't be a 2, because were that to be a 2, we would have an absolutely awful time trying to place 2 in box 8, because this 2 sees those 2 by knight's move and that one by Sudoku, so you can't put a 2 here. And that means that one is not the 2, so we have to put a 2 on the palindrome in this position, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th position, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that cell's become a 2. And that means 2 can't go here. Oh, we already knew 2 couldn't go here because of the logic around those 3 cells. So 2 is in one of 2 positions in box 9. Now, can it go there on the palindrome? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rather annoyingly, yes, it can. Okay. Right, well, but what we can do is say that can't be a 2, because were that to be a 2, it would rule 2 out of both of its possible positions in box 9, so that's not a 2. That creates an X-wing on 2s, look. What do I mean by an X-wing? Well, it means that the pattern of 2s in the finished grid now will either be a 2 here and a 2 here, which is sort of a slash this way, or a 2 here and a 2 here, which will create a slash that way. And if you sort of imagine that movement, it's creating an X in the grid. And the consequence of that, well, you can see it. The simplest consequence is to consider where 2 goes in row 8 now, because it can't go in those 6 cells. And it can't go in that cell, so it must be in one of 2 places in box 7. Which rules it out of 2 places. Oh, no, hang on, this is lovely. Okay, let's think about where 2 goes in box 4 now, because that is quite restrained. 2 can't go in either of those cells, because if you try and put a 2 in either, let's just show you. It's a common knight's move trick, this, but it removes 2 from both of those possible cells in box 7, so it doesn't work. So 2 can't go there. It can't go in these 3 cells because of this little digit. We've got a 2 domino here, removing 2 from those 2 cells, and these 2 cells here see each other by way of knight's move. So 2 can only go in one position, which means 2 is placed in box number 5, 2 is placed in box number 7. This is lovely so far, isn't it? Oh, and it is lovely. That 2 sees that cell by knight's move. So the way that the X-wing unwinds is like that, which places a 2 cells down from the 3 on the palindrome. Oh, which we've already got. Okay, yes, that digit and that digit seem to have some connection via palindromics. Have I done all the 2s? I have. We've done all the 2s. So do we look at 3s now? Or do we look at 1s and 4s? Well, one small point to note is that this digit, whatever that is, let's make it green, well, it can't go there, so it must go there, which means that these 2 digits are the same digit as well, and that means a purple digit must occupy one of those 3 cells at the bottom of column 5. Now, 3 is in one of 3 places in box 1. Okay, now it's getting harder, so now we're going to have to think a bit, I suspect. Can 3 be on the palindrome? No, okay, there's a small point. 3 can't go there, because it then would be there on the palindrome, and it would be immediately beneath itself, so that won't work. So 3 is up here, which means 3 is in one of those 3 cells. Now 3 can't go in a 21 cage, because that will definitely give us a problem. You'd have to go double 9 3, which will break. So that's the cell there's a 3, which means 3 is not here, because it's a knight's move away from either of those. 3 is in one of 2 positions in box 6. 3. 3's in one of 3 positions in box 8, one of which is on the palindrome. Now, I have no clue where that one goes. Right, let's actually think about this palindrome. How long is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 cells long. So it has a middle. That's something we now know. And its middle will be its 14th cell. So there's going to be 13 cells to the right of the middle, 13 cells to the left of the middle. And the middle is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's the middle. So we'll award that the mantle of orangeness. Right. Okay, and that's good for our 3 here, which can't... So if this was a 3, we know that because of the palindromic nature of the line, this would be a 3, which it can't be because that's a 3 away from its friend here. Oh, no. And also it's in the same column as a 3. I've just noticed that. Why does my brain work this way? Why does it see that as a problem and not that as a problem? I do not know, but it's very annoying for me as well as you. So this is not a 3. So 3 is now let down into one of 2 places in box 8. So it's not in the 14 cage, and neither is 2. Right, so that means there is a 1 in the 14 cage. And that, well, oh, this is beautiful. Good grief. Okay. So there is a 1 in the 14 cage, and the reason there's a 1 is once there's no 2 and no 3 in it, what would happen if there was no 1 in it? It would have to be a minimum of 4 plus 5 plus 6, which add up to 15, not 14. So there is a 1 in it. We've got a 1-4 pair up here, removing the 1 from the orange, putting 1 into this domino here, which looks at the green. So the green is now 4, and the purple is 1. So there's a 4 down here, one of which is on the palindrome. So can we get rid of the 4 from this position, which is 3 away? 1, 2, 3. Yes, of course we can, because we can use the palindrome. We're just going to double check that. So this middle, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you can't put a 4 here, because it would result in a 4 there and clash with that 4. So we've got a 4 in a domino. We've got a purple 1. We've got, what else have we got here? So the other 2 cells in the 14 cage add up to 13 and don't include a 4. So they're either 5, 8 or 6, 7. I'm not actually sure where we're meant to look now. Oh, yeah, okay. Why don't we look up here? This being a 4 rules a 4 out of this little cell, and therefore there is a 4 in my 21 cage, which now has to be 4, 8, 9. Now that's on the palindrome somewhere. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So positions 8, 9 and 10 from the other direction are 4, 8 and 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this one and this one. Those are 4s, 8s and 9s. Now does... No. Oh, that's a bit... I thought this 4 or these 4s down here might do some work on this, or maybe... No, okay, so I'm not sure what we do with that. But here's something rather cute. Where does 3 go in box 5? And the answer is, well, the really interesting cell is this one. This cannot be a 3, because if this is a 3, you can't put a 3 here or here because of the knight's move in box 8. So that's not a 3. which means the 3 is in... Oh, 3 can't be here because that would be a knight's move away. This is lovely, isn't it? So 3 is in one of those two, so 3 is not here anymore. So 3 is down here in box 8, which means 3 is in a domino over there. Oh, and we know actually. We know where 3 goes down in this domino because we can ask where 3 goes in box 4. And although we don't have a, well, I don't have a clue really where it goes. Oh, you know what? No, I do know. Well, I know roughly where it goes. Good grief. Where does 3 go in box 4? Now, I just noticed it can't go here because it would rule a 3 out of both of those cells, again because of the knight's move. But it can't go there because presumably those 2 digits are those 2 on the palindrome. Yeah, they're the digits after a double 2. Well, there's a double 2, and that means they go in those cells, which can't be 3. So 3 is not in those cells. So 3 is in one of these 3 cells. No, again. This is ridiculous. So 3 is in this arrangement, which we've already seen somewhere. I can't remember where it was. Was it with the 2s down there? But this is an X-wing on 3s. So we should ask where 3 goes in this row, in row 5. It can only now go there. That places a 3 in box number 1. That places a 3 in box number 7. How many 3s have we got? Loads. Now, can we finish this off? I'm looking to see if one of these 3s sees this X-wing, but I'm not actually managing to spot how that works. I'm almost certain they're resolved somehow. I just can't see it. Sorry. Now, where were we looking before we were looking at this? I've now forgotten what my chain of thought was that made me look at the 3s. I was looking at the 4, 8s and 9s, wasn't I, at some point? Yeah, okay, that's a little interesting as well, about the 19 cage. Because the 19 cage can only have one of 4, 8 and 9 in it now. Because whatever this digit is, let's make that just a red digit for a moment. This digit is definitely not red, and it sees those 2 cells by Sudoku. And that digit also sees these 2 cells by Sudoku and is not red, because we know this is a 4, 8, 9 triple, because it's the 4, 8, 9 that goes in the 21 cage. So you can only put one of the digits 8 and 9 in the 19 cage. So this can't be 4. That's the simpler way of thinking about that. If that's a 4, given I can't put 8 or 9 into those 2 cells, how on earth could I make them add up to 15? I couldn't. So that's the middle cell of the palindrome, which is this one. That is not a 4. So 4 is in one of those 2 cells, which means 4 is in one of these 3 cells. 4 can't go here anymore. So 4 is in one of 3 places in box 6. No, because that one is a knight's move away. So 4 is in one of 2 places. So 4 is in this domino. Now, can 4 be here? No. No, it can't. Because if 4 was there, this is the middle of the palindrome, 4 would be here. And we know 4 is not there because it seems to be pencil marked there. So that's not 4, this is 4. So that's not 4, this is 4. And now I've got... So the 4 is the nearest digit to the 2, which is that digit in palindromic terms. So that's not a 4 anymore. That's not a 4 anymore. So 4 is not here. So maybe 4's left with being one of 3 places in box 7. Now I've got to put an 8 or a 9 in my 19 cage. And... oh, well, no, it can't have 9 in it. If it's got 9 in it, how are we going to make those 2 cells add up to 10 when we can't use 2s, 3s, 4s, or 9s. You can't, because 1, 9, 2, 8, 3, 7 and 4, 6 are the only ways that's going to work. So I hope there will be a way of making these add up to 11, probably 5 and 6. 2, 9, yes, 2, 9, 3, 8, 4, 7 ruled out, so that's 5, 6. Red is 8, which is the digit after 4 from the direction of the 2, so it's that one. So that's 8, that's 9, which means that's 9. So 9 is not in the 14 cage. Which we actually already knew once we'd locked 4 out of it. So this is either 167 or 158. Oh, I tell you something. 8 is restricted in box 5 here because of this this impossibility. So 8 is in a domino. So 8 is not there. So 8 is in one of 3 positions in box 2. Can we do better than that? Quite possibly. Not quite seeing how though. 8. Yeah, that's interesting. Where does 8 go in box 1? It can't go there by Sudoku. It can't go here by Sudoku, so it's in one of 2 places. Now, this one would be on the palindrome and would correspond to that position, which is in the same column as itself, so that doesn't work. So that's no good. So 8 goes here, not there, therefore. 8 sees this cell by knight's move. Good grief. I do think this sort of puzzle is so... That's 8, that's 3, that seems to give me a 3 here. I have a feeling... I don't know why I just had a stranded 3 pencil mark over there. I think probably that's been resolved for a while and I just didn't notice. So what's that done? It's given me loads of 8s. Oh, we can continue with our journey of 8s. Look, where does 8 go in box 6? It must go here because this is a knight's move away from itself. 8's in a domino at the bottom of this column. Let's check the palindrome. 3 blank 8. No, that doesn't work. So this is not 8. So 8 goes here. 8 goes here by Sudoku. How many 8s have we got? Almost all of them. So we should be able to place the 8 in this box. It's got to go there, which displaced a 4. So that's a 4. That places a 4 by pencil marking. Places another 4. This is almost too good to be true. It's absolutely flying. 4 must be here. Yeah, all the 4s are done. All the 8s are done. And we've nearly got to a point. Oh, my 14 cage. I was about to say I've nearly got to a point where I've used all the cages, but I have now because this 14 cage hasn't got an 8 in it. So it's not 158, that's 167. Which means those where do we place 9 in this box? I can do that. That's got to be there. That's got to be 5. That 5 sees that, so that's 6 and 5 go in. The 6 comes back down here and bounces around. So we've almost locked in the central cell of the palindrome. Oh, we have now. That's got to be a 1. The central cell is a 7. This is all palindrome, isn't it? So 6. We've got to go 6, 1, 5, and then the 9. And we don't quite know what's going on at the top there. But in this column, we need 5 and 6, which we... I don't know if I can do that, actually. I can't see how to immediately. I can see 6 is in one of those 2 cells, which means 6 is in one of these 2 cells. Probably, can we rule it out of that one, which is the digit after a 2? Yes, we can. Of course we can. If this is a 6, that would be a 6. And then it would clash with its friend here or its friends there. So that's not a 6. So the 6 gets placed in box number 4, which means 6 is placed in box 1. Well, 6 in box 2 is in one of 2 places. So 6 is in one of 3 places. No, one of 2 places in box 3. Those two squares are a 7-9 pair. Oh, and they're on the palindrome. Look. So the 2 digits after 2 here are 7s and 9s, which places a 1, which we could have got anyway by Sudoku, but never mind. We need a 5 in this column. We need a 1 and a 7 in those 2 cells. Therefore, these 2 squares have got to be 6 and 9, and we know the order because of the 9s here. So 9 goes in, 6 goes in. That places the 6 at the top of the grid. This column needs 5 and 7, which we can... Yes, we can do. That 5 sees that one. So that's 7, that's 5. That's on the palindrome in the 3rd position, so let's put that in. That 7 sees this one, 9, 7... 9 must live in a home up here now, in box 2. And in a home here, in box number 1 as well. So what is the 2nd digit on the palindrome? It's not 7, so it must be 1, I think, just to complete box 9, which means that is a 1, that's a 1, that's a 7. Okay, and those 2 squares at the top are a 7-9 pair. And this 7 is going to help us do that. 7, 9, 9, 7 by Knight's move. That's a 9 now. This 5 is seeing that square. So we've got 6, 5, 5 here, 7 here, 7 here. I hope we're not breaching any Knight's move constraints. 9 here, 6 here, and hopefully 1 here and something there. 5. Done. Yay. That's wonderful. That was wonderful. Trail map indeed. It was... I loved the way that this... I actually loved the way that this palindrome bounces backwards and forwards. And the sort of clever logic behind the selection of the cage totals and the way that you could sort of narrow them down based off what couldn't be in them. So, like we had to get a 1 in the 14 cage, and how that then immediately disambiguated the 7 cages. That is a lot of forethought that's gone into this. The selection of this 21 cage, which the moment that this cell became a 4, you know, it forced the 4, the 8 and the 9, which had ripples effects down over on the 19 cage down there. It's very, very good. Not much redundant in that though. Redundant. You didn't live up to your name. But I certainly am very grateful for the recommendation for that one, because that was a joy. Let me know how you got on in the comments. I do enjoy reading them, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.